Is it business unusual in Rivers? That is part of what we'll find out today. And by the way, we'll also be talking about the planned resident doctor strike. They say they're supposed to continue, or it's supposed to go on Monday. So we'll have a perspective on that matter. Well, just give you a little bit of a background, can we? Let's see, how short can this be, guys, about the impeachment notice, the impeachment moves being carried out by the Rivers State House of Assembly. We'll have a short piece for you. Have a look.
I've never had it this bad. In the entire Nigeria, similar to Fubara and Professor Ngozi Odu, these are the only two people in the office at the sub-national level that are yet to present 2026 appropriation bill. The entire country. I'm sure if you go to the entire West African sub-region or even Africa, you will not find any sub-national government that has not presented an appropriation bill for 2026. Who would believe that in this 21st century, that a state like Rivers State will not have an appropriation bill either presented or passed? Nothing is holding the governor from presenting it. He chose not to. And the governor has been boasting that he will always go and meet the president for the president to call us and give us instruction. He has been boasting, he has been saying it to his followers that this assembly were nothing but toothless bulldog. That this 10 Rivers House assembly, we cannot do anything, we cannot enforce the constitution. This is a sad commentary for our democracy. Sir Simon Fubara and Professor Numa, although they are nothing but a threat to our nascent democracy. If they are allowed to remain in office, I don't know what will become of our democracy. And they are moving about from place to place, spending taxpayers' money without approval. Part of what led to other efforts to impeach them, first impeachment effort, second impeachment effort, has to do with refusal to present budget. Distinguished colleagues, I thank you for your contributions. We will follow this impeachment process through. The Supreme Court has confirmed that the governor has committed offenses against the Constitution. Let the law take its course. Those in favor of the prayers of this motion should indicate by saying aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it.
Okay, so we've got Enemy Alabo George, Chairman House Committee on Information and spokesperson of the Rivers State House of Assembly. He joins us virtually this morning. Good morning and Happy New Year to you. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Chamberlain, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Well, it appears that politics back in the trenches in Rivers State with this impeachment notice, the fresh impeachment notice by the Rivers State House of Assembly to the governor, who incidentally is in the same party with you. First of all, let's just get a proper perspective. I mean, there's been several reactions, of which you've seen some of them. So is the House of Assembly continuing with this impeachment move?
Yes, we're going all the way with it.
Okay, but before we come to some of the issues you've raised, your party has said, stop that impeachment move. We do not accept it and that we will do everything to stop it. So does it mean that you, being a member, and all the other gentlemen and ladies in the House are going to defy that group of APC members who say, stop the impeachment move?
There are two things there. First, the faction of, well, there's no faction. The people who have come out to say that are not known to us. Oh. Our party in Rivers State is led by our party chairman that we know very well. We don't know those people that are talking. That's one. Secondly, the House of Assembly is an institution. Remember that we have two parties now in the House of Assembly. We have 17 members of the APC and 10 members of the PDP. So it's an institution of government. It's the creation of the Constitution. It is not a party issue now. We're talking law now. We're talking the Constitution and constitutionality, please. So we cannot reduce issues of the legislature to mere politics.
Yeah, but this is clearly politics because, I mean, we've had the FCT minister say during his tour of local government in Rivers State that there's only one agenda. So he keeps saying, I mean, everybody heard him when he says no other state boasts of having the PDP and the APC all together, meaning if they wanted to do something, they would do it in unison. In fact, the political line of those parties is blurred in this case.
Well, those are political conversations for the politicians. When I sit here, once I enter the chamber,
aren't you a politician yourself?
I am a first politician, but I'm a representative of the people in the House of Assembly. So the party is a vehicle. Once we enter that chamber to sit on behalf of Rivers people, and when I speak here, I speak on behalf of the House of Assembly, not as a party chieftain, but as a member of the House of Assembly, as a spokesperson of the House of Assembly. So those are political issues. When we come to politics, we'll discuss politics. Now we're discussing legislature. Now we're talking law. Now we're talking the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sir.
But what would you then say to those who think, look, they can see through the veil? This really isn't about any of those allegations that the State Assembly has made. This is purely power tussle in the state, and say they know that this is what it is. So you can't convince them that, well, this is actually a violation of certain laws as required, as you have said.
Timberlane, opinions will always differ. People will always read meanings to whatever they want to read. But as I like to do, I like to refer them back to the Constitution. Is there a breach of Section 125, Section 126? Is there a breach of Section 121? Is there a breach of Section 192? Sorry, Timberlane, I don't know why I like mixing the two of you. You guys are like Siamese twins. The law says, if you do a community reading of Section 125 and Section 126 of the 1999 Constitution, it is said that a state will render audited accounts to the House of Assembly. Since the inception of this administration, we have never had that. That is in breach of Section 125 and Section 126. Section 192 says that there shall be commissioners in the states who shall be screened and confirmed by the House of Assembly. I speak to you, we have people in government who were not nominated, who were not screened, who were not confirmed, running the offices of government, manning ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Section, we have the Fiscal Responsibility Act and the Rivers State Fiscal Responsibility Law, which says that there shall be a medium-term expenditure framework, which is like a fiscal plan upon which the budget of a state will be built. We're talking the landscape of public accountability. You said earlier, and I was struck by that people cannot be allowed to spend public funds, taxpayers' funds, without accountability. How do we, from the inception of the administration, the only time we had a budget was when we did a supplementary budget for the governor in 2023. There's no 2024 budget, there's no 2025 budget, there's no 2026 budget. But we are spending public funds. Who will take responsibility for it? Let's blind our eyes for 1 second to politics and look at law and drive the landscape and be on the landscape of accountability, of fiscal responsibility. Let's leave politics aside. Tell us that we're wrong if the Constitution is wrong. The government is an establishment of law. The executive arm, the legislature, the judiciary, the tripartite arms of government, who are at the horizontal level, are all arms of government created by law. And so we have a responsibility to protect the Constitution. If we're a product of the law, of the Constitution, then we must abide by the dictates, by the prescriptions of the Constitution. If you want to call it politics, the question is there a breach of the Constitution? If the answer is yes.
We heard the speaker, I mean, we played that back just before we came to you today, where he was talking about the agreement reached that the president settled amongst all the parties, that he's even breaching that one. That's the governor now. What part of the Constitution is that being breached now?
Now, those are intervening variables. You know, our state was in a quagmire. We had hit a brick wall, and there was a standstill. There was no governance happening in Rivers State. If you carefully read what the Supreme Court said, there was no governor. So the president had to intervene and give a political solution, just to give us that space to recalibrate. to have a deep moment of reflection, come back, and then government will begin to function. That was the whole idea of the state of emergency. But now it looks as though the state of emergency did not achieve anything because we came back from state of emergency and then we are seeing worse. Remember, when we came back, we called on the governor. Now send in your list of commissioners, let's screen them for you. No matter who you want to use, we don't want to know. But let's just go by the law. Then we said, look, we understand that the National Assembly had passed a budget for the sole administrator. We know, we are sensitive to the fact that that budget did not reflect the inputs of Rivers people. And you as governor, you have plans and vision and aspirations for Rivers people. We know that that budget did not have your inputs, may not reflect what you want. Now bring a supplementary budget that will pass for you, that will now reflect your own development plan for Rivers State. The governor did not respond to us, has not done that up to this moment. We never went as much as say that, okay, guys, listen, we're very busy now. We're trying to put this together. Give us a while, working on something. Nothing. No conversation. Nothing. We'll be calling for the 2026 budget. So it means that as a state, we'll be running without a budget 2024, 2025, 2026. These are taxpayers' money. The money don't belong to us. You can't be running the government from your bedroom, running public funds from your back pockets. So people must now begin to question these constitutional issues. Impeachment, like I said earlier, is not a death sentence.
Yeah,
we're only interrogating.
So
what
if the governor says the budget that was passed by the Assembly June 25 last year, I'm okay with it. I'm implementing that budget and I can go for 6 months. What's wrong with that?
No problem. No problem, sir. If we assume that that budget is valid, what we are saying,
assume or that it is valid.
A budget is a spending plan. Your activity, your financial activities, your fiscal plan is itemized inside. Once you spend, assuming the University of Assembly had passed a budget, even if you spend something that is not in the budget, you have made an extra budgetary expenditure. What we are saying that even that one, expenses that have been made, public funds that have been thrown around, are not even contained in even that one. I challenge anybody to show us the expenditure of government in the past few months and bring that budget and make it public and show us. If we say we're impeaching you based on extra budget expenditure, it's simple. This issue can be solved in just 2 days. Say, SARS, no, you got it wrong. I spent 5 billion on Ogoni and Ogoni roads. Refer to page 125 of the budget. It's there. You guys didn't check where. I spent Suzo billions on Opobo internal roads. Please refer to page 34 of the budget. It's there. You guys said that you didn't screen commissioners. You're making a mistake. These are the commissioners you screened for me. See the approval you sent to me. It's simple. And this matter dies. What we're saying is there are expenses that are extra budgetary, not budget passed by the House of Assembly, not even the budget passed for the State Administrator by the National Assembly. We are spending hundreds of billions of taxpayers' monies without accountability, without budgetary provision. Our schools are suffering. Our classrooms have no seats. Our hospitals are suffering. No employment is going on. But funds are being pushed out massively on a daily basis. Who will take responsibility for it? So the question is, has there been an infraction?
Well, we'll come to that in a bit. But when the Speaker says that agreement that everybody reached with the president brokered had breached, for a lot of people, that is the bone of contention. Every other thing that you're citing, they think it's a smokescreen. It's just a veil. As you said, this matter can be sorted in, just like that. If he then says, okay, well, that agreement reached at that time, we will implement that agreement, this will be dismissed just like that.
What were the foundations of the agreements? Go and act according to the law. Regularize. Present budget to the House of Assembly. Send commissioner nominees to be screened. Allow the institution to function as an independent arm of government. Those were part of the issues. We have not seen any of that happen. We have not even as much as seen a communication. The governor is running the states as one arm of government. It's almost as though the legislature does not exist. That is the point that the Speaker was trying to make. Now, like I said to you, those were political intervening variables. Those were interventions that were necessitated by the need to save Rivers State from chaos. What we're saying as we speak now, sir, is that the Constitution has been serially breached. What we are saying, that public funds, taxpayers' monies, are being spent without approval, without accountability, without a budget. It's simple. The governor can say, like I said earlier, look, guys, no, look at the budgetary provision. I spent 100 billion on this, check this page. I spent this one, check this page. And this matter dies automatically. So while I cannot deceive myself and say,
okay, well, Mr. Alabajoji, if you can hear me, let me take this conversation a little differently. The House and the governor, at least a good number of people in the House, are in the same political party. So was there ever a sit-down, a time when the governor and members of the House of Assembly, who are members of the APC as well, was there ever a time that you guys sat down to say, well, as a party with an ideology, this is how we're going to govern the state together, after this whole intervention that you referenced?
Now, as much as usually when I speak on behalf of the House of Assembly, I try to restrict my conversations to legislative activities of the House of Assembly. But I'll just probably, for the benefit of the public, digress a bit. The last time we had that kind of sitting was during the presidential intervention. And after that, leaders of the state tried to bring us to a table for us to forge a way forward. After those initial meetings, before the state of emergency was lifted, there has not been any such conversation. Not official, not political, not even a friendly hi. So we're back to where we were before the state of emergency.
Okay.
That's why we're shouting.
All right.
That's why we're saying that somebody must speak the law, but be followed to the letter.
Okay, I'm coming somewhere. Just one moment, Mr. Alabajoji. So before this impeachment notice, I hear that there was no sit-down as a political party. There are those who would also be wondering, after that intervention, and if everyone really, really intended to do the bidding of the president, if I can also put it that way, what was the relationship between the governor and the House before this impeachment notice?
I just said to you that we've had a couple of official, not even communication. Remember that immediately after this state of emergency was lifted, to show goodwill, to show that we're ready to serve, to show that we want to work with the governor. We want government to function optimally now. In our first sitting, we said to the governor, please bring a supplementary budget so that you can hit the ground running. That will reflect your aspirations, what you intend to do, not the one you are compelled by the administration's budget to do. Anyone you want there to work with, fine, that's okay. But assuming there are things you want to do that are not contained in the budget, bring it. Let's pass it for you so that you can begin to work. We don't have time again. Your tenure is running far. And then we now said, you need commissioners to work with. You need to form your cabinet. Please also send a list of commissioners. Let's screen them so that you can hit the ground running with your team and begin to gain back lost grounds. That was it. There was no response. There was not even a little, guys, I've heard you, give me a little time. We're working on something. Nothing about the supplementary budget. Nothing about a 2026 budget. Deaf silence.
Okay.
Graveyard silence.
Now, right now, given what has happened before and how come we're still here, given also the conversations that's been going on left, right, and center, given the fact that, Mr. Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, has been making some comments over time, it'll be very difficult for the House of Assembly in Rivers State to convince anyone that this issue is not political. It'll be very difficult for anyone to believe that the House of Assembly is doing this purely from a governance perspective, because there are those who are wondering that, look, the intervention, it would still have been possible. It doesn't have to get to this level. So do you see a chance? I mean, if the president intervened before
who's to say that it can't happen again? So do you see a chance where a political intervention will resolve the issue and the governor will retain his seat? Or what do you see happening? Should, for instance, a political solution be suggested or proposed?
My dear brother, the president is a human being like you, who has sentiments, who has emotions. He intervened the first time, he was disrespected. He humbled himself in the interest of our nation, of our state, intervened the second time. And then that also has been an effort in futility. If it were you, what will you do? The Constitution is what we're talking about. And we can't convince everybody. It would be foolhardy for me to say, I want to convince Nigerians that, oh, there's no politics in this. Politics will always be politics. You can't, even in your office, you can't take out politics. But can we, for one moment, blind our eyes to politics and look at what the law says?
Do you think it is possible to do that in this case, Mr. Olabo? Just 1 second. Do you think it is possible? Do you think it is possible in this case to turn our eyes away from politics? Given, for instance, that everyone has heard Mr. Nyesom Wike, who many people believe that the House of Assembly is still very, very much loyal to, despite the fact that he is in the PDP. So, given what he has been saying, that a second term for the governor means that he's going to lose political influence, and if that was something that he said, and that happens to be true, there are those who will believe that because of the loyalty of the House of Assembly to the former governor, Mr. Nyesom Wike, the House is doing this so that the governor doesn't have a chance to run for a second term.
That is the landscape of politics. Politicians will always play politics. We're talking about the legislature.
But you are a politician as well, Mr. Olabo. The
Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
You are a politician as well. Yes.
I'm a politician, but I'm also a legislator. I swore an oath to protect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sir. If I do not, who will? Politics is politics. But in doing politics, you must do it within the confines of the law, within the window that the law has provided. The question is, has there been a breach of Section 125? Has there? Section 126, Section 192, Section 121. Has the Constitution been breached, sir? If the answer is yes, then yes, let me answer you. It's possible to blind our eyes to politics for one moment and focus on the ground norm, which is the Constitution. It is clearly written in the pages of the Constitution, in the chapters, in the sections. If we focus on it, then maybe our eyes will be clearer to what is going on. If we focus on the landscape of fiscal responsibility, of public accountability, then maybe for one moment we can say, yes, maybe there's something in what these people are saying. If we have lied against the governor, it is simple, sir. Show us where the lies are. Show us the Constitution. Show us the part of the budget that has approved the multi-billions, the hundreds of billions that you have been spending. Just show us. And this matter dies and politicians go back to their politics. It's simple. Even when they play politics, it is done according to the dictates of the ground norm, of the Constitution. It is done according to the prescriptions of the 1999 Constitution as amended. We must be careful not to ignore constitutional issues, because one day somebody will shoot somebody on the road and commit murder, and you will say it is because of the issue between Nyesom Wike and Fubara. Okay, the person is Fubara supporter. Did the person shoot somebody? Yes. Is he in breach of the criminal code? Yes. You now say no. Don't take the person to court because it's a political issue. That is what we're talking about. We're saying that to avoid a breakdown of law and order, to avoid a chaotic situation, can we please restrict ourselves to the provisions of the Constitution? While politicians play their politics, can we, within the confines of law, ask ourselves, have we acted right? Has there been an infraction of the Constitution? Has there been a breach of the Constitution of Section 192, or Section 125, or Section 126, Section 121?
Well, Mr. Alabojo, just one last question. Yeah, one last question from me before I send you back to Chamberlain. I still asked, and I'd like you to speak to it, if there is a chance that a political intervention by anyone, be the president or even political leaders in Rivers State, can, heal the situation, because you know, you are in this country, that in this same country, in this same republic, there have been serious, breaches of the Constitution that, for one reason or the other, they have gone on, no one has really raised any issues about it. Political interventions, political solutions have been considered, and whoever is involved has kind of, being rescued, if I can put it that way. So do you see a political solution where all parties involved actually sit down and have a conversation in the interest of the state and have a resolution that at the end of the day, this will never happen again?
If all things were equal, maybe that would have been possible. But they say once bitten, twice shy. Not when. Right now, all things are not equal because we have seen repetitive incorrigibility. We have seen, as I've constantly used, recidivism. We have seen a recidivist in action, someone who is incorrigible. You do the same thing, you commit the same crime, you are corrected or punished, you come back, you do the same thing again. That's why judges use that word, recidivist. You are sent to prison, you come back, you commit the same crime over and over and over again. So we have seen a penchant for that. For breaking laws, for going against the Constitution. So we have to restore law and order. Government is a creation of the Constitution. It is a sin against man, God, and nature to spend public funds without appropriation. You have been talking earlier about Dangote. I know Dangote issues. You have been talking about accountability. Can we apply that same sense to the issues at hand now? Forget that this is River State. Is it right for the governor of a state voted by the people, a creation of the Constitution, to spend funds of government, public funds, taxpayers' money, from his back pocket, to run ministries, departments, and agencies with people who were not appointed or confirmed by the House of Assembly, to make extra budgetary expenditure, to make donations without appropriation? Is it right, sir? Well,
about the governor?
Yes.
And then the speaker also spoke about the governor as well. So could you tell us then, because the impeachment notices were served on both the governor and the deputy. What was the offense of the deputy governor?
What was the offense of the governor?
The deputy governor.
What was the offense of the governor?
So is she guilty by association?
The deputy governor is part and parcel of the government. They are the only two people in the executive that were elected by Rivers people. Assuming the commissioners were elected, the constitution does not allow us to impeach any other person other than the two of them. They were the two people that are holding in trust, are holding the public office in trust.
So she's guilty by association then? That's what you're saying?
She's as guilty as the governor. She's part and parcel of the equation.
Yeah, what specifically did she do?
What specifically did the governor do?
So are you saying what the governor did is what she did as well?
You have answered your question, sir.
No, that some will tell you that flies in the face of reason, because if it's only one signature that is there and her signature is not there, how is that her own problem?
I'll encourage you to maybe grab a copy of the notice of impeachment and then look at it. Again,
well, the notice we didn't see the notice addressed to Her Excellency is just one page. But that of the governor, we see several pages of that of the governor.
It's not correct. I'll encourage you. I'll find a way to send copies to you. That's on the one hand. Secondly, sir, let's not forget that an impeachment is not a death sentence. It offers you the ample opportunity to defend yourself. So I can agree with you that maybe she's innocent of all the accusations. A one-page letter. Item 1, you said I did this. No, I've never done this. Item 2, you said this. I've never done this. Simple. And this matter dies. So the governor can defend himself. She too can. This is not a conflict. We are not saying that it's an impeachment. It's an accusation.
Okay,
we're
so
not saying that.
As you wind down, could you then tell us, Section 188 outlined the steps that needs to be taken if this is supposed to run the entire course. But we see in Section 5 there, that's subsection 5. No, not subsection, Section 5 actually says, within 7 days of the passing of the motion under the foregoing provisions of this section, the Chief Judge of the state shall, at the request of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, appoints a panel of 7 persons who, in his opinion, are of unquestionable integrity, not being members of any public service, legislative house, or political party, to investigate the allegations as provided in this section. So, which chief judge is going to do this now? Is it the one appointed by the governor? And what if the chief judge says, well, I'm not going to go ahead with this? Isn't this going to die at that stage?
Similarly, we have acted accordingly as prescribed by the Constitution. As a legislature, we have done our bits. We don't want to bother about what the judiciary will do. We don't hate the governor personally. We're not desperate to remove the governor from office. Once we have done our bit as prescribed by the law, other arms of government are free to do their bits. I cannot worry about the chief judge. I'm not a member of the judiciary. My concern, my worry should be the responsibilities that have been put on my shoulders by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That we have done. We have cleared our conscience, we have done our bits. We'll throw the ball back to the judiciary. You know, the Constitution was very intentional, was careful for checks and balances and separation of powers to allow the legislature to play its part and also to allow the judiciary to play its part. And even the executive play its part, because now the governor has to respond. If we've done our bits and other arms of government on the horizontal level are supposed to do their bit, I cannot do my work.
All right,
and do
so
what
you may have also heard when people say, you are adding the deputy governor, that's the House is adding the deputy governor to this because chances are that the deputy governor may not just do what the House wants, and so get both of them out of the way. If that ever happens, if the chief judge decides otherwise, all of that is dead on arrival. But what if the national leadership of the APC tells you, members of the House, we have the same party, we don't want any ruckus in the party, we don't want to cause any division, stop this move? What happens there?
Remember that the House is not totally APC. We have 10 members of the PDP.
For those who are APC, if they tell you, where's the Speaker? What party is he? And the other members. You have a lot of, most of you are in APC.
The Speaker is the primus inter pares. The Speaker is the first among equals. He has 1 seat in the House of Assembly.
In other words, you will not do what the national leadership says?
He's APC. We are a legislature, not a party.
Does that mean that members of the APC in the Rivers Assembly will not do what the leadership says if you are called upon to stop it?
Is a law-abiding party. I do not expect the APC to go unconstitutional.
Also, it will be unlawful if they ask you to drop the move.
I don't expect that they will.
What if they do?
So let's wait until we get to that bridge.
All right, Enemy George is the Chairman House Committee on Information and spokesperson of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Timberland. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.